Hey everyone, and welcome to the Atomic Cinema Experiment, aka the ACE, our science fiction movie podcast, where we talk about movies every week. I'm Peter, by the way, and joining me is Tara.
Greetings, citizens.
And in this episode, because a new entry in the franchise is about to come out soon, we thought we would revisit the original Men in Black from 1997. We will start spoiler free as we always do. We'll give you a warning before we get to spoilers, and that's what we're going to do. Also worth mentioning, at the end of the show, we have a bonus section where we talk about an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000, and the episode we watched this week together was Manos, the Hands of Fate. So
You didn't say that with enough tears in your eyes.
I think there was enough apprehension in my voice. Also, can I just point out how weird it is? Like, what world did we create for ourselves where we're doing an episode of a show that talks about Men in Black and Manos, the Hands of Fate as a double feature? Like, how did that happen? I don't know.
I don't know. You can't replicate that though. It's magic.
This. I mean, I blame you more than anyone.
Oh, you're gonna blame me?
I blame you.
I thought you were gonna thank me.
Blame, thank. I mean, same thing in this case. Same thing. It's a love-hate relationship. All right, it's a love-hate relationship with some of these bad movies. So Men in Black, 1997. I was 8 years old when this came out, which meant it was the coolest thing to me at the time.
Yeah.
Right? You would have been, what, 12?
I thought we went over this.
What? No, I shouldn't specify. I'm sorry. I've put a number on it.
You don't need the specifics.
You were a few years older.
Yeah, I was 12. And it was still a big deal when it came out.
And it was still a big deal. I imagine it was. Like, it seemed like a cool thing at that age. And it was right after, because Bad Boys was 95. Independence Day was 96, so this was kind of like the triple year of like Will Smith becoming the star. Like after these 3 years, he was like he was the biggest actor in Hollywood. Essentially.
Did you watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Probably not before those movies, just because I was too young. But certainly, I saw a lot of reruns of it. Like just
that's all anybody at school talked about was Fresh Prince. Yeah, he was a big deal.
Yeah, so he became this big huge actor. And Tommy Lee Jones, let's not count him out because I love Tommy Lee Jones. He is the perfect gruff man.
He is.
Although notably, I started laughing when I realized this throughout the movie because at one point he said something kind of funny, or over the top rather, and I kind of said to myself, "This was the same year as Batman and Robin."
Yeah, I looked it up too.
Which he wasn't in Batman and Robin. Admittedly, he was in Forever. He was like 2 years earlier. But
yeah,
it made me think of those Batman movies, his delivery of something, and I started thinking about his Two-Face, and it was just it caught me off guard. But yeah, so
he seemed to be enjoying himself much more in this movie than he was in Batman.
Oh yeah,
and Robin, or Batman Forever,
because he got to play Tommy Lee Jones for most of it. Like for most of it, he was the gruff, deadpan, like come on slick kind of character. Like
right. I just mean because I heard that he and Jim Carrey did not get along.
Oh yeah, they hated each other. At least half of them hated Jim Carrey. Maybe the other half didn't. I don't know. But you loved that joke. Don't you lie. That was a great joke. Two-Face, come on. So anyway, so I've prefaced this by saying that it was a big deal, and I presume you liked it at the time. Like, at the time.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen it a few times since, but probably closer to then than now. Like, I don't think I've seen it much. The last time I probably saw it was maybe, it's probably been at least 10 years, maybe 15.
Probably more for me. Yeah.
Something like that.
I agree.
So it's been a long time. And, we were not doing the sequels. There was a temptation to do like 2 and 3 in the next couple of episodes. And ultimately, I didn't really want to because 2 sucks, just straight up. It's terrible. And 3's better, but I didn't really want to devote 2 more episodes of this show to the Men in Black sequels when I didn't think they were that interesting. Maybe when there's another Men in Black, because Men in Black International is coming out, maybe if there's an International 2, we'll do Men in Black 2 for that, right? And we can bounce back and forth.
That sounds fair.
But I didn't want to devote 2 episodes when we've got other movies to do. We've got more interesting things to talk about. Right? But
I agree.
But I think going back to the original is interesting, mostly because this is the one that people at least did think was good at the time. And I was curious. Oh,
Sorry
Fox.
about that.
Yeah, Foxy's disagreeing though. But I was.
There's a bug flying around, so
Oh,
yeah, she's on patrol.
that's on topic. That's
Yeah.
on topic. There was bugs in this movie. The villain was a bug. But like, I was curious. Like, does this hold up? Am I going to watch this and
Yeah.
like it or dislike it? And the reason why I say that is because when I saw Men in Black 3 in theaters, you know, which was what 2012, 2013, something like that, something in that range.
I actually didn't see it in theaters. I rented it from like a Redbox and but yeah, it was Josh Brolin, right?
Yeah, Josh Brolin was the younger K. There was time travel involved,
I
and
remember I did like him in it.
he was
I
good.
thought he was good young Tommy Lee Jones.
I thought it was better than it had any right to be, and it was definitely much better than 2, but it wasn't necessarily a good movie. It was kind of like fine.
It still wasn't the Will Smith I wanted.
Yeah, it was just kind of like fine, and I think it really painted like a memory of the first one a little bit differently for me at the time, having not gone back and watched it. Where I thought that was cool at the time, but I don't think I'm going to love it that much if I watch it now. I think, and it kind of carries over to the new one where I'm seeing the trailers for the new one, and I like Chris Hemsworth, I like Tessa Thompson. I think those two are great and really funny. But I have to admit, the trailers for the new one, like, well looking fine, don't really get me that excited because I'm like, I don't know if Men in Black's something I want to franchise it off. Like,
yeah, I'm getting a little bit of Ghostbusters vibes from the trailers, and they're just not getting me yet, and I want them to because I do like both of those leads very, very much.
Yeah, it may be
Emma
very
Thompson.
good. Emma Thompson. It may be very good, but the thing that I'm getting from it is that
I'm going to see it. Yeah,
it wants to feel really slick. You've got like a hip hop song playing over it. You've got from the director of Fast and the Furious 6 and 7 or whatever it is, or whatever numbers it was. Maybe it was from the 8th one, maybe just Fate the Furious, but like, and I'm like, this is weird. And I think the other thing that's bugging me about that trailer is, well, I do think the two actors are great and it looks like they're going to be funny, is that it feels like a lot of the bits are like, let's do a similar thing to the bit they did in the original. We have to do a thing where they have the button in the car. We have to have the button in the car because the original did that, and just things like that were just kind of sticking out to me. So here we are.
It's hard to be a sequel, though.
It can be hard to be a sequel, especially when you're a Sony sequel, because Sony's batting average is not good in general.
Right.
Never mind with sequels. So I asked the question then before we get, and if you don't know the plot of Men in Black, there's a secret government agency called the Men in Black who monitor and police extraterrestrial life on Earth, and they make sure that no one ever knows about it. The public don't know. They've got the flashy thing. They don't know. And Tommy Lee Jones, his character's Agent K. His partner retires, and he recruits and trains Will Smith, who's Jay, to be a new Man in Black. New Man in Black, I suppose, to say it properly. Yes. So, Tara, how did you feel about watching Men in Black now? 22 years later.
Yeah. Wow.
There are people who were born the year this came out that we can go have sex with, right? That is the extent of how old this movie is now.
No, I'm not having sex with a 22-year-old.
I didn't say you would. I said you could.
That's an odd way to phrase it. I would have said they could fight in a war, drive a car, vote. Straight to sex, okay. I will say it holds up. I thought the movie was a blast.
Okay. It held up better than I thought it would. The one thing really stuck out to me, and I think it's because I developed this taste over the years after this came out. There's one thing I really hate about the movie.
What's that?
Danny Elfman's music.
Oh, come on.
Dun 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 dun. I hate it.
Yeah. That's what movies sounded like for a long time.
I hate it. I hate it. I just...
I'm not anti Danny Elfman because I'm not anti Tim Burton like you are.
Oh, I am so anti Tim Burton.
I don't get excited about a Tim Burton movie, but I don't hate Tim Burton. He did make Ed Wood, which is a movie you haven't watched yet, and you really should.
I'm sure you'll make me watch it at some point, but the point is...
It's not science fiction, so no.
Okay, true. But look at it this way, right? I'm watching the movie, I'm trying to get into it, right? and then something Elfman-y will happen, like in the soundtrack.
Dun, 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 dun.
See that opening when you're following the dragonfly, like going around
Yeah.
the desert? And it's just that music playing. I'm like, I want to fast forward these opening titles so bad. I wanted to, but I'm a professional.
Why? It's not a Tim Burton movie. It just reminds you of one.
I'm a professional, and I sat
Do you not
through
like the
them.
Addams Family either?
I enjoyed Addams Family movies because they're funny.
Yeah. So is this movie.
No, it is. It is. I don't want, like, I like this movie. Men in Black 1 is a solid movie. I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's a solid movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
It held up better than I thought. I was expecting to watch it and going like, I don't know if this is gonna hold up. But you know what? I really did. I had a blast watching it. Especially my favorite part is anytime Vincent D'Onofrio was on screen. He is so funny. I didn't realize how funny he was.
yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio plays the villain, or the human that's taken over by the villain, so he's playing the villain for the rest of the movie. I didn't know who he was when I first saw this, and probably only know who he is now because of Daredevil. So it was like, so he looks really
Not
different.
because of Private Pile.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, is he in that? It's been a long time since I watched that.
Yeah, he's the one who,
Is that him?
boot camp.
I'd probably
Yeah.
recognize him now. Also, for people watching the video, spoilers for Full Metal Jacket.
It's not the ending of the movie. It's the ending of the best part of the movie, admittedly.
I'd probably recognize him now, but hell, I mean, I could tell it was him, but it's like he looks so different compared to what like he looks like now.
Yeah.
He's such a different looking guy. Same to an extent with Tony Shalhoub, who's in there for a small role. Like he looks so different. What's Tobias Funke's real name?
Oh, David Cross.
Thank you. He looks like I could.
He is almost unrecognizable.
Yeah, it's obviously him. His mouth gives it away, but he's still got a lot of hair at the back, and he's got like, he's not got the mustache, so he comes off feeling really weird. But hell, and then
He's
something.
not wearing the shorts, the cutoffs.
Someone that I really noticed though in this is the tall bald man who's one of the aliens in this.
Oh yeah. Lurch.
Lurch, yeah, he's in the Addams Family. But what
Also in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
He is
Mr. Hand.
You're
Mr.
right.
Pond.
You're right.
Like
He keeps hitting the gong while they're eating. They try to eat dinner.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's Loxana's helper.
I remember that. But I know him now, even though it's not the first thing I saw him, because I've seen some of these things long before this. But he will forever be the giant from Twin Peaks.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going to go with like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh no! This was not a reference to the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This was a reference.
That doesn't count.
You brought it up.
You don't get a point for that.
Oh, we're playing for points now, are we?
Have you not been keeping track?
Oh, I'm going to now.
Well, just know that I'm like 6 points in the lead.
You have not done 6 hit television shows Star Trek the original series until now. No way, you've done it like twice. I will not have this retconning.
I'll show you my graphs later.
What was I getting to?
I don't know.
What will we talk about in the movie? The giant from Twin Peaks. That's what. How did we get to that?
I am so tired right now. I do apologize, but I might tangent because of that. I'm going to try not to babble too much.
Well, I'm going to encourage babbling whenever it pops up because I love a good babble. So,
all right.
So I'm working against you. Yeah.
Let's talk about Lurch.
So, the giant, or you might also refer to him as the fireman.
I never watched Twin Peaks, so no.
So what the point I was making was there's all these faces, right? There's all these faces that like, you know from things from later, or even in this case before, and you're like, oh yeah, that person, and like, they look so young,
Yeah.
you know, like because this is like almost 10 years before Arrested Development, so David Cross is like really young here, and then if you watch the new seasons of Arrested Development, it's like man, it's another 10 years has passed, like this is,
Yeah.
this is like proper middle age now. So
Yeah, he's almost unrecognizable except for his voice. You can't hide that voice.
Yeah, he's early to mid-20s here. Like he's pretty young here.
Yeah. and barely apart. Like I was looking at the credits for his name, and it came
Yeah,
up like basically right before the end.
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was strange.
He's not getting the credit he deserves quite yet. I mean, he's literally in one scene, so I mean,
Yeah.
fair play, I guess. Uh, so yeah, yeah. So what did we like? So we're still in spoiler free. What do we like and dislike about the movie? So I don't like the Danny Elfman music. Danny Elfman's an overrated hack. I want no part of it.
I will say that some of the CGI I didn't love.
Some of the CGI is definitely dated because it's from 1997. However, I do want to commend them that there's a lot of practical effects as well that
Yeah.
does hold up.
A lot of goo.
Rick Baker did the effects for this, who's, if I remember correctly, and horror fans will tear me apart if I'm wrong on this, but I believe this is the gentleman who did American Werewolf in London, doing the creature effects. In fact, I'm going to.
I love every time, not just because of Vincent D'Onofrio, but I love the makeup on him also because he's wearing like a skin suit, so it's like starting to rot as the movie progresses.
Yeah, I'm actually just going to confirm my suspicions because I'm second guessing myself that this was American Werewolf dude, but I believe it was.
Oh, okay. Well, I really did enjoy the makeup on him a lot, and when we did get practical effects, they were really cool. I think the coffee alien guys, I won't say too much more, but I think they're practical, right?
The coffee aliens.
Yeah, the ones in the coffee room.
Oh, the little aliens.
They're puppets, aren't they?
You may be right. Yes.
Well, I like them a lot too. Not just because they're really funny, but like I thought they looked cool. I like the only time the CGI really kind of stood out was the end with the alien.
Yeah, honestly, the CG isn't as dated as I thought it would be. Like, I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised that it definitely looks dated, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't look as cringeworthy as I was. Because if you rewatched the Power Rangers movie from 1995 anytime in your recent adult life,
No.
let me just say, if you watch that, the CG of the Zords at the end will make you like hide behind the couch. You'll be almost
Well,
crying.
we watched movies from 97 on the show.
We have.
Dark City was 97.
Sure, but that had better CG than Power Rangers did.
Sure, and even some of that CG was mostly just environmental CG stuff, like buildings moving, and some of that really didn't hold up very well. I think the CG on this was a lot better than that.
Sure, yeah, I can see that. No, but I think it's because it's mixed with practical. It's why Jurassic Park mostly holds up, is because there's a lot of practicals mixed in with the CG.
Yeah, you only use CG when you can't do practical.
Yeah.
Not because you don't want to do practical.
And the art form, of course, has been lost because now everything's just like. If you go to see the new, like Men in Black, you really think there's going to be any practical aliens outside of people who are just in makeup because it's a humanoid? Like,
I hope they have just as much goo though.
You want goo? You want all the goo?
I loved all the goo in the movie.
Yeah. It's pretty Will Smith. Will Smith's really charming and funny, and he's got a couple of his trademark lines.
Makes you miss him.
Was there anything in the movie that you felt was dated conceptually? Like, was there any jokes where you went, it doesn't really land that well today because, whatever reason?
I don't know. Is this a test? Are you testing me?
No, I'm not. I'm just asking your opinion.
I don't know if any of them really stood out. Some of them I thought were kind of, for kids, but for the most part, not really. I didn't notice anything.
Yeah, no, it was just like a couple of things that stuck out to me was just like it's a pretty much a sausage fest of a movie, and
yeah, I mean, I guess Vincent D'Onofrio, when you first meet him, he's very cruel to his wife, and she's just kind of, I don't know, I guess because they're low income family living in a trailer, like that's supposed to be something that's okay, that we make fun of.
Yeah, he's dinner on the table, house should be clean. He's making all these demands.
But I don't really think that's that bad.
No, it's not too bad. I think it's more just that that wife is really the second female character in the film, because the main one, of course, is the doctor, whose name I am.
Yeah, forgetting. She was her lines were Very sexualized.
Laurel, her name was. Um,
Hmm.
did she ever do
But
anything
she was clearly
else?
into Will Smith, so I don't really blame her. Like she had a motivation to be a sexualized character, I guess.
It was just it felt a bit much at me at times. Like there was one joke in particular where I would give the writing crap for what Will Smith said in return, as if he was really assuming
Oh, I
things.
know what you're talking about.
But
Yeah.
at the very
Later on.
least, given where she was pointing, I can't really blame the character for thinking she's implying something dirty.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a huge leap. Um,
I agree. Yeah.
if
I
anything,
think if that same joke was done today, it
mhm,
would be done worse somehow.
yeah,
And I would hate it.
I think if anything, it made her look a little bit silly because of where she was pointing. Like she didn't, because she eventually gets around it by pointing sort of more like under, right, and it makes more
Yeah.
sense what she's doing. Like up until that point, she's literally pointing at her crotch the entire time.
That scene, I guess that scene might be a bit
Yeah,
over the top. I don't know if dated is the right term because I could still see that being a scene in a film that came out
sure,
today.
yeah.
But
And
it just seemed a little bit goofy because it went on for a long time.
it did, yeah. And I'm not. My point, I'm not like hunting for things to be like, oh, this is like dated, on PC or whatever. I'm not doing that. It's just as I was watching these scenes, the flirtation was kind of odd to me because it doesn't really go anywhere and is never really relevant in the film in any capacity. The character doesn't really have much of an arc, and I guess my complaint here is less that the lines or the jokes aren't good. It's more that her character is very much just a plot device. She's there to be kind of a damsel at one point, even though she gets like a cool moment, in that scenario. She's basically just there to be a plot device until she's a damsel. And I was kind of noticing just how male orientated the rest of the film was. Like, Will Smith goes for his like orientation, and it's like we're here for the best of the best of the best, and it's like just like 8 dudes. Like
Yeah.
that was sticking out to me a little bit, and it was a sort of thing where I like to think that today they wouldn't do that there would be a mix of people in that.
Well, they're not because we've already seen the trailer for the new one. And we get Tessa Thompson as a man in black, and we get Emma Thompson, who's clearly in charge.
Yeah, so you agree with me then that
I mean,
things have
yeah,
changed?
I agree.
Yeah, okay. It sounded like you were disagreeing, and then the point you made was like, wait, what? That's what I was saying.
No, we are in agreement.
Good.
And I will fight you on that.
Good. We're in agreement, and that's just it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the plot is just kind of fine. Like, it's like, there's an alien plot, menace, world's doomed.
Yeah. You know what I didn't remember from this is I don't know if I should go into it with that. Are we still doing spoiler free?
Do you want to go to spoilers? Okay, full spoilers from this point on. Full spoilers for MIB Men in Black, the original.
Yeah. I guess what the part of the plot that I didn't remember was why the aliens were on Earth. I didn't realize that they were like refugees.
Mm.
That part I didn't realize. Like they were here to be protected. I thought they were just living among us and we had some kind of agreement with them where, okay, but humanity can't handle this. So you can live among us, but we'll be like your police.
Yeah.
We'll be your police and then make sure humanity doesn't have too much knowledge.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they were there because they were escaping something.
Yeah, a lot of Men in Black is immigration. I mean, they don't focus on that, but that is definitely there in the background.
The opening scene is about it too.
Yeah. I almost felt that was kind of more to be a joke about aliens coming into the country.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be a real
Clearly.
alien. Like that's really what the joke is meant to be in that opening scene, which is fine. I mean, I think the plot is just kind of serviceable. It's not really about the plot. It's about the characters. It's about the fun and the jokes, and it's about Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones playing off of each other, and that's all very good. That's all really great.
Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones is great in this movie.
He's great. I mean, I think I actually like him more than Will Smith in this. I like both of them, but
I do too.
I think
actually.
his deadpan is more relatable to me. Whereas I think as a kid I like Will Smith more because he's so wisecracky and stuff. But
he's fun. He's just nothing but fun on screen.
I think as I've gotten older, I relate more to Tommy Lee Jones. So
you're a little gruff.
I'm a little gruff. Yeah, I feel like since the age of about 14. I've been an old man. So
I do. I like Tommy Lee Jones a lot more watching this today also. Um, yeah. I just like his he's so good at being that type of character anyway. This seems unusual for him to
yeah.
be so I don't want to say cartoonish, but I don't know, to take a role that's so different.
Sure.
And I didn't realize this was a comic book movie.
Yeah, it's based on a comic book. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. Have you ever read them?
No, no. I think I saw an episode of the cartoon that came after, but I never read any of the comics.
And those are based on the comics as well, not based on the movie, based on the comic.
I have no idea. I would probably say a little of both, like because they obviously need more plots because it's a cartoon. They need weekly stories, so I imagine
Sure.
they probably took some from the comics. But I have no idea how accurate it is. I have no idea like how accurate the movie is to the comic.
Mm.
I don't know. Do you know what's frustrating? I got to the end of this and I fairly enjoyed it. I don't think it's like a great movie. I think it's a really enjoyable, and that'll hopefully be reflected in my score when we get to the end.
Sure.
But I think what stuck away from me at the end of this movie and is just how forced and tacked on the sequels are, because this movie ends with Tommy Lee Jones, like Kay, retiring, and he wants to go back to the love of his life that he's been gone from for 35 years, and she's not moved
How
on.
nice, right?
She's not like found a new partner. She never like got with anyone in that time. She's just been lonely and sad because her husband or love of her life disappeared, or the government stories and he's in a coma. Right, that's what it says at the end.
Yeah.
And it was this great ending for him. It felt genuinely quite sad that he was passing things on, and we have Laurel that seems to have been recruited as Jay's new partner, and the sequel shits all of this away. It retcons
That's
it
the
all.
thing. I was thinking when I watched this, like,
Yeah.
I don't remember her in the sequel.
She's not. Yeah,
and
she's
I
not there.
remember Kay coming back. And I think I remember why Kay came back, but I don't remember what happened to her character,
never
or
mention her.
if she's in it even.
That not even mentioned. I don't think, from what I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No. It makes her feel so.
But that's the thing. Like, if they wanted to make a sequel, they have a setup for a sequel still with
Was she
Jay
asking for
and
too much
Matt
money?
Steele's character, whose name I can't remember, Laurel.
Yeah.
And they just abandoned it completely.
I mean, I'd like to say that, oh, maybe the actress was awkward and they had to like base it around that, but part of me just thinks, and this is probably the likely story, is that they just wanted the same pair, so they just wrote it to fit that, and we get this awkward plot of bringing Tommy Lee Jones back, and
And Tony Shalhoub, right? Doesn't he come back?
I think you're right. I think we do see him again because I think
The dog. The pug is the thing.
We get the pug, yeah.
Maybe that's the third movie. I can't remember.
It felt so forced to me even when I first saw it. You know, it came out when I was like maybe 13, 14, something like that. And I remember hating the second one when I saw it. I remember actively disliking it. It may have even been one of the earliest examples of me like being old enough to realize a sequel's bad. Like, because I think when I was a kid, I just liked everything because I didn't know it was good and bad.
Yeah, me too.
But
The Lost World was that for me.
yeah. Do you know, it's one of those
And
things.
it had dinosaurs in it too. And I still was just like, I don't think that was very good.
I mean, we'll do that someday. But like,
Oh, really?
yeah, Jurassic Park sci-fi, bringing dinosaurs back to life. Come on, now.
Yeah, I just figured that's something you would do. Like, maybe you've already done it with Connor
I have
on
not.
Netflix.
I have not. But like,
I
Lost,
would watch it. I own them all. I'm happy to.
Lost World for me is one that I convinced myself I liked as a kid because that was '97 as well, so I was same year as this. I was 8.
Yeah, I was so stoked. I skipped school.
Mm.
Didn't tell my mom.
Do you know the only movie I ever skipped school to go and see? Spider-Man 3. I have made horrible life choices.
Yeah.
But no, Lost World is one where I like convinced myself I liked it, and I don't hate the movie. Like, there's definitely good parts in it.
Oh,
but,
I agree. Like, it's shot beautifully. I still quote, "Don't go into the long grass."
but I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Jurassic Park 3 is better than The Lost World.
I have fun with it because at least it accepts that it's a B movie.
That's exactly it.
From the beginning.
It's just a B movie adventure. It's nowhere near as good as the first one, obviously, but I enjoy it way more than 2.
Oh yeah.
So Yeah, and some Spielberg loyalists would take umbrage with that, but I'm sorry, but
Well, Lost World looks better and has
sure.
Goldblum, but
I do like Goldblum. You know, I like Goldblum.
I don't love the Godzilla scene at the end.
Oh, so bad. I hate that. That the
Yeah,
last 20 minutes of that movie is just so tacked on, and uh,
it does. It feels like a different film.
so
We should probably save the rest for when we review it.
we should, yeah. I'll have a full whack of it though, because I'll rewatched it then now, so we can look forward to
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So yeah, the ending really bugs me because like the sequel shits everything this movie ends with and like sets up for possible future
Mhm.
things. It shits away and just
Yeah.
retcons all of it, and it's just like
How could we get Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith back together?
It's not quite as bad as say the opening of Alien 3, but it's kind of in that kind of line of thinking where it's like you've just kind of taken away and made the ending of the last one feel redundant. So it makes me instantly dislike the sequel a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's not the only problem that movie has, not by a long shot, but it's definitely the first thing.
Alien 3?
No, Men in Black 2.
Okay.
Oh dear. So yeah, the visitor Orpheus gets taken over by a bug. He's looking for the galaxy, which is on Orion's belt. Which I will say this: knowing what Orion's belt is in the context of this movie, it's the cat's collar. It's actually kind of insufferable watching them constantly doubt Will Smith when he keeps saying, "Oh, they said the galaxy was on Orion's belt. Don't be silly. There's no galaxies in Orion's belt. Don't be silly. The pug said it's on Earth." And I'm like, "Oh my god, it's the cat's collar. Just oh my god." Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I realized it because I had seen the movie before, but a long time ago, because there's a lot that I forgot. But yeah, I agree. I was going through that too. Like it's on the collar of the cat.
yeah, yeah.
The cat's named Orion.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the movie's really made up of set pieces. You one's Will Smith. You got the montage of him being trained. You get or getting his suit and all that, and ending with the "I make this look good." Classic moment.
Mhm.
You've got the baby delivery, the squid delivery scene. Kind of his first,
It was good.
mission, where it's slapstick, it's whatever. But my favorite part of that whole scene isn't the actual delivery or the over the top like slapstick of it. My favorite part is legitimately when Tommy Lee Jones just turns and says, "Right, you can handle this," and just walks away.
Yeah.
Like that to me, that's the funny part. The funny part is him saying, "You can handle this," like a pro, as if.
Well, that's the thing that's why I think that's why we like his character so much too, is that he is so deadpan and serious, but we take him seriously in this role, like he knows what he's doing. So even though we see Will Smith in the background being practically beaten to death by this baby alien that's coming out, that because Kay doesn't care what's happening, like we can just laugh at it and we know that he's not in any danger.
Yeah, yeah. That's the smart thing about what them conveying this as to us as the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got that, and you've got the whole joke where he gets the little gun, and he thinks this is lame until he fires it, and it blows him back like into the wall, and then again into a car,
Yeah.
and all the rest of it. I think Joe, the movie maybe fails to do, actually, now I'm thinking about it, is like Tommy Lee Jones wants to recruit him because he's like, oh, he chased down this alien, right? He chased down this alien at the start of the movie on foot.
Yeah.
That takes skill. That takes like a certain type of person. I want him to be like in the organization, right? And that's really cool, and that's fine. It was kind of a shame to me that at no point in the movie, like I think watching this again, like not remembering it clearly, I assumed there was going to be a scene towards the end in the Act 3 where he will actually use the skills that he has that maybe the other Men in Black agents don't, the way he thinks, to actually help solve the problem.
Yeah.
And
Well, even the training montage that we get, well, not really montage, but in the beginning, when he's training to try to outcompete all the soldiers
Yeah.
for the new position, we never really get the idea that he is the best. Just that he thinks a bit differently than the rest of them. But Rip Torn seems annoyed by him the whole time.
Yeah.
And then, Kay says, or he asks Kay, like, are you sure about this guy? And he says, yeah. And so we immediately just like give everyone else the red light. And it's almost like that whole test wasn't necessary. Like they were already going to go with Will Smith from the beginning.
No, I think that's implied. I
Because
think
he never really proved himself during those scenes.
I think the idea is just to make it look to Will Smith or to Jay that he is, you know, not like just getting this job, that he's actually in a, to make him prove himself almost, even though, like, no, it's all about just showing, you know, Rip Torn, or Zed, is his name. The proper way to say that letter, by the way, just for the record, that's how you say the letter Z.
That's how we say it in Canada. Do you guys say JZ?
No. If it's a name like that, I'll still say Jay-Z.
Okay.
Same with an acronym. If it's clearly supposed to be like something with a Z sound, because that's what makes the acronym sound good.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a dick like that. But
I was just curious.
If I'm saying the alphabet, I'm saying Z. Damn it. But like, you know, there's no moment where like his skills as like someone who thinks like this from the LAPD, or the NYPD, ever really comes into play, or ever really is, because the reason why I'm thinking about this is because where he shoots the little gun, that's the one scene where he kind of runs after him, and ultimately it's a nothing chase where Tommy Lee Jones eventually says, "It doesn't matter, we've got his ship, he can't get away." Like, you know, like,
sure.
And it kind of
and
felt
also all he did was like cause a whole lot of destruction and a whole lot of people to have their memory wiped.
Yeah, he doesn't really learn anything, really, as an arc.
Well, maybe. I mean, he could have learned that maybe not to use his immediate police skills and chasing people down in public like that, or being so quick to use a gun out in public like that, because they have other methods, like to be more patient or to listen to, I don't want to say your elders, but the people who have more experience.
You mean like you've got more experience than me? You mean like that?
Yeah, you should be listening to me is what I'm saying.
Because you're my elder. Which, by the way, we're recording this on Tara's birthday. Just I want everyone to know that.
Oh, yeah, it's a big day.
It's a big day. It's the big. I won't say the number.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm committed.
No, so happy birthday to Tara. Everyone say happy birthday in the comments. I should have said that at the start. I really should have rubbed that in at the start.
You don't need to say it.
Yeah, a bunch of happy birthdays in the comments. That'd be nice.
People watching don't need to say it.
Just say happy birthday. Be nice. But like, if you're right there,
nobody's
though,
gonna be watching us after our last one.
True. But if you're right about that theory that like, he learns not to fire his gun, he learns to like keep his cool. I don't think there's a scene after this that shows that he's learned that, though. Like, it's one thing to say that, but we need a scene where he chooses not to do the thing that he did before. A scene where he chooses to be calm or chooses to do it another way. And that never really happens. And I'm not saying it hurts the movie too bad. Like, it's the sort of thing that I'd complain in a lot of stories where the characters don't really have much of an arc. Tommy Lee Jones arguably has more of an arc in accepting the new guy, essentially, right? And accepting that maybe he shouldn't just flash everyone, because that's the kind of thing that he learns from him. But here's what I like, though, or why I think that doesn't affect the movie, is that the movie's about having fun, it's about having an adventure, it's about these characters playing off of each other. But I think the reason why I'm bringing this up is that I think what stops it elevating itself from being a great movie is without that emotional arc that actually... The closest we get is Tommy Lee Jones' retirement, right? And him saying goodbye and going back to his wife. But it's basically a subplot at best. There's one scene in the middle where he's like spying on her like a creepy pervert with satellites. Which, by the way, having that good satellite imagery, but surrounded by a Windows like 97 style. No, there's no such thing as Windows 97, but I'm saying like 1997 Windows era. Like,
there's a lot of
graphics.
technology here that does not hold up very well.
No,
I like the thing that will replace CDs. It's just a really small CD.
Yeah, that's right.
Not just a digital stream of music. Yeah.
They couldn't comprehend that in 1997.
Oh, I understand. It's just fun to see old future technology.
Oh yeah. Oh, just you wait until we do Jurassic Park. I'll be doing a whole like 10-minute section on the CD-ROM and how excited the kids are about it. It's got CD-ROM. Woo. So I think that's what holds it back from elevating itself to great, though, because I think if you had that emotional core where I felt the characters actually went through an emotional journey and learned something by the end, I think I would like it a lot more than I do.
Okay.
As it's like, it's a fine movie. It's a fine, entertaining.
It's a fine. I think it's a fun popcorn summer movie.
Yeah.
With characters that I like. I like all the effects.
Yeah.
I like the aliens, and I especially like the humor.
Yeah, it's much better, because when you say that it's a fun popcorn movie, like people say that about Michael Bay movies. No, it's better than that. It's better than those types of movies.
I wouldn't say those are fun popcorn movies.
People who try and defend them do. It's popcorn. You leave your brain at the door and just enjoy the carnage. That's what you do.
No, they're mean. They have like a cruelty in them that doesn't exist in this film.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
No, the movie's full of likable characters. And then, of course, they eventually get the big guns out at the end when they realize, oh, these spaceships at the World Fair, they go there.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Queens, and they're all excited, and they hit the spaceship with the big guns, which leads to Tommy Lee Jones getting eaten, and then he goes, because he's going back for his gun which was eaten, and he blows him up for the inside. And then Laurel gets her one cool moment when she gets to save them, picking up the other gun.
Right.
And that's basically that. Tommy Lee Jones, like, I'm retiring. You're my replacement, Slick. And that's basically the movie. Apart from the final scene where it kind of jokes like, yeah, there's a galaxy in this little thing. Like, it can be small, and then it it zooms out and zooms out until we realize that we're in a marble, like our galaxy's in a marble, and there's an alien playing with it as if it's a toy. And it makes that point. That was another thing I hated about the second one.
Feel real like small and insignificant. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like, I remember hating the sequel. Kind of tried to pull the same ending, but it was just nowhere near as good. It was like,
I don't remember what it is.
They open a locker and they're inside a small locker in like a big locker room that's full of aliens, and it's just like, it was nowhere near as good. Anyway, yeah, the one thing I've not mentioned is that because like the bug aliens like hunting this galaxy, there's a spaceship in orbit that's going to destroy the entire planet if we can't get the galaxy back. So there's like a ticking time bomb element to the whole final plot, but they have to get it back within the time, which is fine. It doesn't feel like they focus on it enough to actually feel the tension, though. Like, I think if the movie doesn't do one thing, it's like it doesn't actually make you feel like the stakes. It just feels like, it's a light-hearted adventure, and that's fine.
Yeah, I never really felt the full danger of it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see them team up against Vincent D'Onofrio. And when you mentioned the spaceship from the World Fair falling down, I thought that was a really cool scene.
Is the shot from behind them?
Yeah, the shot of the space. I think it's practical for the most part to get that effect of the dirt flying up and stuff, even though they probably just used the footage from Star Trek Generations because they did the same thing.
I'm pretty sure it was like, they're not standing there though. They're definitely on a green screen.
No, yeah, of course not. But like, it's a really cool shot. It looks great.
Yeah, well, look good.
And I mean, you could tell that they really love that shot because they held it for a while. It was good.
Yeah, it did that thing where at one point Will Smith looks at him like, should we not be moving? Like, but Tom is so he's so confident that it's going to stop before it hits them. It almost reminds me of Back to the Future. When Doc's like spinning up the car when he's testing it for the first time, and Marty's like trying to move away with the camera, and he's like,
right,
what are you doing? Stay here. But no, so this is a fun movie. Like I say, like if we're getting to ratings now, unless there's any final points you want to make about the plot or,
I mean, there's not a whole lot of deep themes in this film to talk about.
Nope.
It was mostly just whether or not it held up, and I think it does.
I love how Vincent D'Onofrio gets really upset when anyone because it's a big plot point where if anyone crushes a bug or a fly, he gets really upset and wants to kill them. So that's how Tobias Funke meets his end, is that he starts swatting flies.
Yeah, and I had read that the I don't think it was PETA. I think it was I don't know, some kind of humane association like the RSPCA or something, if that's the right acronym. I don't know, but something for animal rights were concerned about them actually squishing so many cockroaches. So instead, when you see Will Smith stepping on them, they use mustard packets. And to make sure, like, they counted the amount of roaches they had before and after, and they match. So no roaches were harmed in the making of the movie. For anyone who's concerned.
This is an animal that we do actually pay people to fumigate and kill.
To exterminate, yeah.
To
I hate roaches. I do. But I'm glad that none of them were harmed for the film.
If anything, I'm disappointed.
I've never seen roaches that look like that.
Yeah, nor have I. I've never seen that.
They are enormous, yeah.
Yeah.
In this movie.
But, yeah. Well, you know, whatever. So to get to ratings then, what are you rating Men in Black?
Okay. Yeah, like I said, not a deep film, but very fun. I laughed every single time Vincent D'Onofrio was trying to act human. He was so good, and I think it holds up pretty well. I think I'm gonna give it an 8. I think it's a deserved 8.
Well, here's where we differ.
Sure.
No. I mean, I'm going to give it a 7. I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I think there was hype at the time because of Will Smith mania, and I think there's a lot of fun elements in the movie that do work. It keeps it nice and simple, which I think works to its benefit. I wish there was more of an arc for Will Smith's character, though, that really made him have a journey in the film, which, to be fair, is something that the third film does do. And I do wish there was someone else doing the music, because
I don't mind the music at all.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think this is what movies sounded like when I was a kid, and I don't mind it.
No, movies sounded like Terminator 2, all right? Movies sounded like, I don't know, Back to the Future, whatever. Like Jurassic Park, John Williams, Alan Silvestri, Brad Fiedel. These are the composers from the era, which I would happily swap in.
All right. I mean, Danny Elfman's music that is pretty well known, I think, came from like late 80s to late 90s era, though.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Does not mean I have to like it or condone it.
I don't think it's that bad.
Look, this is a personal thing.
Catchy.
I'm not saying it's subjective.
The tone of the films.
I'm not saying it's objectively bad. I just, like, if I was to add things to this film to make it better, I would add more of a character arc that had some emotional weight and a little bit more stakes.
Okay. And
it's not that I think there's too much comedy. I just wish there was a bit more meat underneath the comedy, to make it really kind of pop.
I like Kay's character arc. I know there's not a whole lot of it there, but I do like the twist that he was training Will Smith not as a partner, but as a replacement, because I didn't really expect that when I was watching it. And I think that's, that comes from the beginning of the film as well, watching his partner retire and then accepting that this is something he wanted to do also.
So when you get to the sequel, and he goes to get Kay back, and they've basically said that he split up with his wife before, and he's just like.
Well, I'm not counting the sequel as part of my rating.
Oh no, I'm not using this against your rating. I'm just trying to. I'm again sort of pointing out how infuriating the sequel is. It doesn't just bring him back into the fold. It actually says, no, that happy marriage that he went to, that was a nice happy ending for his character. Yeah, that didn't work out. They split up.
Yeah, it's true. I did like seeing the Weekly World News again. I haven't seen that in like 20 years either. Are they even in business still, I wonder?
Well, I've never heard of them, so I have no idea.
Oh, the Weekly World News. Yeah. They're the ones with the crazy tabloid covers of like woman gives birth to baby who's can lift like 50 pounds or something like that.
Read a lot of this growing up, did you?
They were always at the grocery store, and they always would give me a chuckle. But yeah, I never bought one or read it through. I just read the covers.
All right. Well, that is Men in Black, which means we can get on to our bonus section of the episode. Actually, no, before we get to the bonus, I do the plugs. So first and foremost, if you want to tell us what you thought of thinking Men in Black, you can do that in the comments. You can like and subscribe, all that stuff. You can. you, I'm just laughing because your chair's just so squeaky.
I know. It's not very comfortable.
So you can like, subscribe, all that stuff. You can do all that. What else can I do, Tara, if they want to support the show?
Oh, you can check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/MilePlusTV. You can donate as little as $1 per month, and with that dollar, you get bonus episodes of The Ace. We have one for last month. We're having one for this month.
We'll have one for next month, and the month after that.
Next month. Our first one was pretty good, Judge Dredd. From what year was that? 99 or 90?
95.
95. Yeah, that was a fun one. You can also go to our store. We have a store, right?
Yes, there's a Spreadshirt store. There's links in the description so you can buy shirts and hoodies and things like that.
US and UK.
Yep. Look at you. And then if I give you some plugging to do, well, I'll do it. We'll alternate, right? We'll each plug something, right?
Okay.
So you like sci-fi movies? I would say check out our horror movie show, which I do with Tim, called Screams After Midnight. Very similar to this show. We get together every week. We talk about horror movie. There's a bonus episode on Patreon once a month. Very straightforward. But we've been doing that for a long time now. We were like over 300 episodes. So that is the what do I say? Experience, the tenure. we have tenure. I kid. And then Tara, if you want to plug something that we do.
Okay. Yeah, you can check out our Twilight Zone reviews. We review both. Actually, we do both the new Twilight Zone and the classic. But the classics clearly are going to go on a lot longer. You can check those out. You get them a week early also if you donate through Patreon. Yep,
you do indeed. So that's the plugins. But we do have one last thing to do, our bonus section, which is where we talk about an episode of Mystery Science Theater 2000. Tara is something of a super fan who's been watching since a kid. I have dabbled a little bit in my more recent years, but every week, or most weeks now. I say that because we won't actually have one the next episode or two. The next couple of episodes will not have a Mystery Science Theater section, just because of how we're having to record things.
You may have noticed that my background is rather lacking. It's because I'm moving house, so
yes,
and I won't have as much time to hang out and watch a Mystery Science Theater, unfortunately.
As fun as it would be to record one the week she's moving and have like a live feed from the car, the Atomic Cinema Experiment on the move, I don't think it's feasible. So it does mean we have to record
an
episode.
Go on tour, guys.
Yeah, we have to do an episode before that, so it means we don't have time to record a Mystery Science Theater. But anyway, but we do have one this week, so this will be the last one for a couple of weeks, but we will have them back in a few episodes' time. What one to go on a break with, though, because this is Manos, The Hands of Fate, which... The first thing I'll say about this is the only episode of Mystery Science Theater that I have seen, and I asked Tara if this ever happened again, and she doesn't remember it ever happening again. It's the only episode that I'm aware of where the evil scientists who are making Joel watch the movie actually apologize at different points throughout the episode for the movie they're making him watch. Because
both of them do it.
They both do it in secret because they don't want the other one to know they're doing it. But that is the level of quality that we're dealing with. Tara, would you like to summarize the synopsis for Manos, The Hands of Fate?
I will do my best.
You can do your best.
Well, it's written, produced, starred, directed by the same guy, so already a good start. And he plays a father and a husband who is taking his family on vacation. And they're trying to find a place called Valley Lodge, and they turn down a road and they get to a place they think might be Valley Lodge or can help them, some kind of a lodging facility, where they meet a man named Torgo. And Torgo is the keeper of the house while the master is away. He's a little bit unclear on who the master is. The family decides this seems like a perfectly reasonable place to stay, just these people's house. Um, and while they're there, Torgo gets a little too close to the wife, physically, like too close. He tries to touch her. It's this really long, drawn out scene. And then the master shows up somewhere
And
around the place at night.
for the record, the master in question is not the master, the big bad from season 1 of the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
There it is. Yeah.
That's a proper reference.
That one was earned. I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
You earned your point.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see you tie Manos into Star Trek. I can't wait to see this happen.
Oh, I have to do that for Manos? Oh, okay. Well,
so someone in here will remind you of Tasha. I'm sure of it.
The master is not Manos. He worships Manos.
Yes.
The Hands of Fate. And we know this because he wears this robe that when he spreads it out, there's these hands that are embedded on the robe. I'm not quite sure what Manos does, or like he is the Hands of Fate. So I guess if you pray at his altar or sacrifice at his altar, maybe it changes your fate. It's unclear.
Yeah, it's unclear. He's kidnapped many various wives.
He has a bunch of wives.
They're all in white dresses. They're all like, pinned up against.
Yeah, they wear basically white underwear and then some kind of lace over it, like a heavy lace though. And the reason I think this movie is made is just so these women who are all dolled up in makeup and will fight each other and wrestle with each other in the dirt, because we get a lot of it.
Yes,
like a lot of wrestling.
It's funny. I actually am impressed how long you were able to draw out that description, because not a lot happens in this movie.
That's basically it.
Yeah, Tara mentioned that they stay at this lodgings, this house. We spend probably half the runtime of this movie in like the main room of this house, and there's a lot of weird editing. There's like moments where characters like teleport across the room. The character
they stare at a painting for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, they do. You're right. The character Torgo, who shows them around, like he like has this little theme song that plays as he walks around. He's got these big fake knees on, so he's got this weird look to him as he's walking. It's a whole thing. That's the one.
That's as best as I can do.
It's closer than I could have done. And then I want to go back to a scene you mentioned. Torgo tries to touch the wife, because this scene baffled me in a number of ways. This was like it's really long and drawn out, but he takes a long time to get close to her. And but what I mean by that is that he's standing at arm's length, but he just kind of puts his arm out, and it's kind of weird, and it's kind of getting really slow. It's reminiscent of, how sometimes when a movie makes fun of the trope where a character's up against
so long.
Like that trope where like a character's up against like a wall, right, and like a parking lot, like, right, and the car's like coming for them, and it's driving directly to them, so they'll be against them going like ah, and they'll like scream as they're against the wall. And some spoofs will make fun of it where there's like a big long gap and they've got tons of time to get out of the way.
Sure.
This wife stands there and just looks kind of like, what's happening? What's going on? What's he trying to do?
For so long.
He's trying to touch you like a weirdo.
And she eventually goes, Mike.
It takes her so long, and I just like back up. Oh my god!
Just get out of there.
It's weird.
It's like she wants to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, for some reason she seems to have never encountered like anyone who's sexually interested in her, because she doesn't even occur to her that he might actually want to grope her or anything of that sort. She's just confused. Yeah. She's confused.
I think the worst scene that happens, because eventually Mike gets knocked out, and Torgo knocks him out because he loves his wife. And Torgo wants to keep the wife for his own bride. Yeah.
But let's just remind everyone here, Mike, the husband, is played by Harold P. Warren, who is also a director and producer and writer and everything else.
Right.
Yes.
And so Torgo knocks him out and ties him to a post where he's knocked out on a post for a while. And one of the brides of of the master finds him there and decides this would be a great opportunity to grope a man and then slap him around a little bit and make out with him. It's such a bizarre scene. It doesn't make any sense at all. But it's even worse when you realize that this guy wrote, directed, and is playing the lead character here, and basically wrote this scene for him to be groped and slapped around a little bit by a beautiful woman. It's a little disturbing.
I'd like to say I hope she was well paid, but I've got a funny feeling she wasn't.
She's a trooper, though. Man,
I've got a
she's an actress.
I've got a funny feeling she was given a popsicle and maybe like $10, and that was like what she got for her day's work.
One day you'll be a star.
Given the quality of the acting in this from everyone involved, I highly doubt anyone in this movie became a star. Here's what I want to
Well, it did kind of become a cult classic. I don't know if we get as much love as some of the other ones, but
well, for the record, see if you go to IMDb, the first thing it recommends if you're looking at this movie is Birdemic Shock and Terror, which I have seen.
Well, there was a sequel to this movie too recently, so who knows? Maybe all the actresses came back. I've not seen it.
Maybe Manos Returns from 2018. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Baffling. Absolute baffling. What I want to talk about though is the opening maybe 15 minutes of the movie, which is literally just shots and shots and shots of the countryside whizzing by from a car, and that's all it is.
That's all it is.
And it just goes on
I
forever.
feel so bad for Joel and the bots, just because you have to run out of jokes. I mean, they do a pretty good job, but like, how many jokes can you make about just whizzing past countryside for? And who knows? They probably edited a bunch of it out.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't think they did, because the version we watched on YouTube actually edited in scenes that were cut from the original Mystery Science Theater broadcast. Because at one point, because
I didn't realize that.
There was basically, it happened a couple of times quickly, but there was one main big scene, like near the end, that was completely put back in, where the guys disappeared, and it was just the movie for like 3-4 minutes, and it was kind of clear why, because it was a scene where like a woman slapped around a little bit, and it was very clear that okay, this was cut.
Yeah, there's some blood in it too.
Yeah,
it was a bit much for the Sci-Fi Channel. Sunday mornings.
Yeah, so I mean, it was clear why they did it, and it makes sense. But it was interesting to see, like, oh, this is what they cut out of the broadcast version.
Yeah, and if anyone doesn't know, like, I think 95% of the episodes are on YouTube for you to watch, so you can watch them for free.
But like, yeah, so that was interesting, and it was also interesting that they still kept in the cat fight, as it were, where all the wives are fighting with each other in the mud. Because it's a classy film. It's a classy film. Most of the movie, though, is just waiting for things to happen, and then nothing ever really does. And you kind of set up for that, because like the opening 15 minutes of this countryside whizzing by, as if you're in a car. There's like a pause once or twice, but for the most part, like it's the directors trying to say, "Oh, no, we're traveling for a long time, so they're desperate to stay somewhere." And you can almost translate the intent of what the scene is and what the script is as to what he thinks this is in a proper movie. You can imagine in a proper movie what this is supposed to be, and then what this idiot director who doesn't know what he's doing is just shitting out, and it's really tedious to watch. But the jokes,
it's boring.
But the jokes make it
boring.
The jokes make it work, I think, though. Like the jokes from Mystery Science Theater make it work. And we also talk about a subplot. There's a subplot with a couple in a car who keep getting busted for kissing and making out, where
they make out so much.
they only pause to drink more booze, and every time we cut back to them, they're sitting in the exact same place. What I mean by that is, like, it's always the driver's seat. She's always on his lap. It's the exact same setup every time.
Yeah, except one time it is at night. There's a night make out, and most of the other times they're in broad daylight. Which
implies that
it's the only thing they seem to do.
Yeah, it implies they've been sitting there making out all day, all night, and I mean, I don't want to be like a typical man here. Like, so you can, Tara, if I'm going too far here with this, I feel like after 10 hours of making out, I expect some sex. I'm just like.
This was a different time. Yeah.
After 10
People
hours.
didn't have sex back then.
And you know the thing is,
Ever.
though, is like they're people who are like 30. It's not like these are teenagers who are being told to like stop drinking and like, you know, move the car. These are people who are 30 years old. You have a home you can go to and do this.
Yeah. It's totally ridiculous. And then the cops keep coming back. Their recurring character to
Yep. Yep.
for something. The worst though is just the ending. Like so the reason the women are fighting is because there are two women that the master
Yeah.
has seen now, and one of them is the child, and they're fighting because whether or not the child should become one of his brides to be added. And then in the end we find out, we get a pan over all the brides, and the last shot is of the little girl also in the lace.
Yeah.
Yeah, the white lace. And it's just like,
Which I guess
I don't
is,
like this.
yeah, it's a dark ending. Do you know what's funny is we didn't even mention the kid yet because, like, for the most part, she's so inconsequential. The only interesting scene she has the whole time is at one point she wanders out the house and the parents don't know where she is, and they
Well,
really,
it's so stupid because they're staring at this painting, and then the girl walks out, and then they immediately turn around and go, "Wait, where'd she go?" And the music kicks in like, "Duh!" Like she's just in the other room, like she walked out a second ago.
she can't be more than 5 feet away from the door by the time they start freaking out. Like this movie, like, it's a cult like movie for a reason of just how absurdly bad it is. But it's not as
painful.
It's not as funny as other, like, you know, you talk about The Room, you talk about Birdemic. Those are funnier more often to make it kind of like worth watching with friends. Where even without Mystery Science Theater style like riff tracking commentary, you can still watch The Room with friends and have a good laugh out of it because it's consistently outrageous in what it's doing when it thinks it's being serious.
This one's rough.
This one is like, I mean, say what you want about Tommy Wiseau, he made sure things kept happening and being said, even though technically nothing was really happening in The Room. A lot more happens in The Room than Manos: The Hands of Fate.
I agree. And there's no Tommy Wiseau.
There's no one funny like that. I mean, Torgo's kind of the closest, but he's not that funny really. He's funny because of how he looks and how he.
Yeah, he's just kind of like twitching.
Yeah. Oh,
I had heard also that the reason like his knees look like that and he walks funny is because he's supposed to have some kind of apparatus on his legs that make it look like he has satyr legs or like goat legs, but instead he put them on backwards. So because of that, it just looked weird and he wasn't able to walk correctly in them.
It's like he's got big kneecaps. Like, that's just really all it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like he's got knee pads on.
So you're telling me it was supposed to make his look like his legs were going back the other way? Not.
Yeah, it was supposed to be something like that.
That is so weird.
But he put them on backwards. That's what the legend is.
That's the legend. I glanced over at the credits here on IMDb, and do you know what they credit the two people in the car as?
No.
Teenager in Car 1 and 2.
They don't even have names?
They don't even have names, but teenagers? Really?
Yeah, they're older than that.
They're our age.
She's definitely a mom.
Yeah, they're our age.
Definitely.
Do you think I could be in a movie, Tara?
I don't know. Maybe times were harder back then.
Yeah, I could be credited as a teenager in a movie. I'll play a teenager. Is my hairline a problem? I don't think it should be.
No, you had that same hairline in high school, right?
Totally, yeah. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah, so not a great movie, but a pretty good episode.
Oh, yeah, I've missed Science Theater.
One of the classics. I'm glad you finally saw it.
It's pretty good, yeah. Notably, I was actually embellishing there. They're not even numbered. It's just teenager and car and teenager and car. And then master's wife, master's wife, master's wife, master's wife.
After all that wrestling they did. Not even a character name.
Not even a character
for the resume.
Name. No. The only people who have names are the family, Torgo and the Master. Everyone else is just, you know.
I would think like the head wife would be on there, the blonde one that was, got the beating at the end.
Oh, she might be. Was she Debbie?
No, that's the daughter.
Was she Margaret? That was the wife,
Maybe.
probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be her, right?
Oh, no. Well, no, because what about Michael's wife? Yeah, there's only two lady names on here. It must be the mum and the
Okay,
kid.
yeah. So I guess not then.
We have 6 Masters' wives. That sounds about right.
Yeah, there's a great moment when first the master awakens, and then he has to awaken all of his brides
Yes.
or all of his wives, and he has to do some kind of prayer to get them to awaken. And then it's the next shot is just him looking totally exhausted, and they're just all like talking amongst themselves, and like it's so obnoxious sounding. And they're like, what was I thinking? It's a great moment. It's one of the best jokes.
Yeah, it's basically that thing where he's like, "Oh, my nagging wife, why did I marry her?" But it's like multiplied
But
by
this
6.
times 6.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh no, I'm surrounded by
I'll
women
talk
now."
about Lancome makeup being too expensive, and you got to buy the whole set. You can't just buy one thing.
That's why he puts them to sleep for months at a time.
Yeah.
Don't have to spend as much on food and clothes if they're just in a coma. Oh dear.
That's it. That's Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Yeah, those people in that car were way over 22. I'm just pointing that out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which we've established is clearly the age, well, not the age of consent, but clearly by 22 you're of the age of consent. It was a running joke for one
I'm
episode.
not approving this.
It's a running episode for one
It's
joke.
measurement.
I'll let it go. Cat, stop pulling. Cat was pulling the cable for the speaker. He was making it turn. That was weird. But yeah, that's Manos, the Hands of Fate. So that is us. Still a healthy episode, but not the 2-hour mammoth that last week's was. I didn't think Men in Black would be. I think we got a decent conversation out of it. I think that was fine. It was fun.
Yeah. I'm certainly happy to watch it again.
Yes, but next week, what are we doing? Actually, I've forgotten. I need to
I
check.
don't know. Oh, it's Iron Man?
What? Oh, yeah, not that Iron Man. Don't get excited, folks. We're not doing Iron Man from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're doing Tetsuo the Iron Man, a foreign film.
Ooh. Sounds classy.
I'm looking forward to it. It's on a lot of best of lists and stuff like that. So, should prove interesting and give us some meaty conversation at the very least. So yeah. You can look forward to that if you want to try and track that down and watch it as well. Yeah, feel free. Or wait until we
It's
tell
not
you.
Criterion, is it?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a Criterion. Okay. It's not on your Criterion app.
My elitist app
That sassy little
that
head
I
bob
know
there.
you're so jealous of.
You're not getting your birthday present now. That has been the Atomic Cinema Experiment episode. Oh, was this episode 9 or 10?
I don't know.
I'm going to check because I want to know when it's 10. We should do a mini celebration when it's 10, right?
Woo!
I
should hold back.
Yeah, maybe 9.
Don't celebrate too soon.
Yeah, maybe
Don't
episode
go crazy now.
9. Yeah, don't make yourself a fool of yourself, Tara. Come on now. Where are we? The last, yeah, this is 9. So next week, Tetsuo the Iron Man is going to be episode number 10.
Episode 10, milestone.
Look forward to it. Yeah.
Trophy unlocked.
Yeah, it's a great podcast. Tell your friends. Reviews on iTunes, 5 stars, and all the other stuff I said before we got to the bonus. But I won't do it all again. That'll just inside it. So Tara, any final points you would like to make before we say goodbye? Any final word? Doesn't have to be about the movies. It can just be a general statement about anything that's been said in the show, or anything you just want to say and leave people with.
I'm sorry that I'm so tired for this episode. Hopefully it was still entertaining.
I was hoping for something funny, maybe insulting me a little bit.
No, I'm a nice person. I don't insult you. I'm not a mean person who would just make things up to insult you. If I say something that's an insult, it's just a healthy criticism. I think you should take me more seriously.
Okay, episode 10. I will take Tower more seriously, I promise. But that is us.
As your elder.
As your elder, yes. As my elder. Yes. Apparently I'm getting tired because now I can't speak. But that has been Atomic Cinema Experiment, episode 9. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We love you loads. We always appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Keep watching sci-fi movies, guys. And computer, add salsa.
Yum, yum.